Hey everyone, Damien Davidovich here from Leeds Demon Network once more. Sorry, that was Damien Davidovich, yeah, so... Yeah, I know I rushed through the introduction a bit, so there you go, hopefully you get to hear it a bit more clearly there. So, yeah, as you can see, we're having a 1 vs 1 Dawn of War Soulstorm commentary. Well, or should I say a replay, to people who played this game before, so... And yeah, me commentating on it, of course. So, yeah, as you can tell, I haven't done it in a little bit of a while, so just a tiny bit rusty, of course. And yeah, we'll just have a look what's happening here. So it's on the Blood River map. We've got the Elder player Metallicana versus the Orc player King's Pawn. Or it could be King's Prawn perhaps. Or we'll just call him King maybe. So just checking the opening builds. Looks like King is going to be going for an opening Shooter Boy squad and a relatively early a generator as well. So not too shabby. And yeah, they're going to be building up their infrastructure as well. So it looks like they'll be going for a bit more of a shooter based build. And well, it looks like there's some spectators, interesting name, spectators in the game as well, so it should be interesting. As for what Metallicana is doing, is going for a fleet of foot, and he's going to be starting off with a ranger squad, presumably without the stealth upgrade, because I mean, they'll do pretty well with the stealth upgrade. The problem is though, Orks can get the big mech out pretty quickly, and yeah, when he gets out he can actually detect stealth units as well, so which doesn't work out too well. And I just noticed actually they've got a Farseer coming out as well for the Elder players, so that's something I don't see every day either. Apparently it's I don't know, depending on who you ask, it's not always a good idea to use the Farseer straight up, but well, what the hell, I mean, they got some pretty good special abilities, provided that you can keep Farseer alive. You can certainly do some pretty good damage there. And yeah, now I've got the Rangers being wrought against the Shooter Boys, unfortunately won't be able to do too much. And yeah, finally here comes the big mech for the Orc player King. But Farseer is about to come out from Metallicana. Looks like his fleet of foot upgrade, yep, is certainly been completed. And what do you know, this is a pretty ballsy move with his Rangers. He's actually going to be trying to decap the relic points there. As you can see, those Rangers are pretty fragile units actually. I'm surprised that the Metallicana is actually doing this, and at the same time we've actually got some ring and rosy, so to speak, on the top left as well. And yeah, what do you know? Lost a few Rangers there, and they're not exactly, actually, they're relatively cheap actually for snipers. Oh well. And yeah, we also got the Psychic Storm build being used by the Farseer. It's not too shabby indeed, doing a bit of damage to the retreating Orcs. And yeah, unfortunately his Mark was just lagging a bit behind, letting these Guardians get caught into melee with the Orcs. And yeah, now he's finally going to be dancing again. So yeah, it looks like he's going to be building a second Plasma Generator. He's actually going to be going for Dark Reapers as well, so not too unexpected, as the only other thing he can really go for is either a quick tech to tier 2 or well, Banshees. And well, don't know how well they do really against a race that's got incredibly good melee units, but anyway. And yeah, it looks like I've actually got these Sluggers trying to capture this relic pointer. The problem is even with these weak Guardians shooting at them, they'll probably won't be able to do so. But here we go, we've got a reinforcing squad of shooters and the big mech coming in to help out King there, but so not too shabby. And at the same time, we've got a bit of harassment being used. Oh, interesting. Anyway, a bit of harassment being laid down by the Elder player Metallicana, and yeah, he's capturing his relic pointer now as well. So not too shabby. Doesn't seem to be building anything else though, and with good reason actually. Doesn't have much resources at the moment. I'll just check the requisition though. 68 and 20 for the Elder, 80 and 10 for the Orc player. So, oh, interesting. Even after all that, the Orc player King is still doing better than the Elder player when it comes to economy. Although that could change pretty quickly once these relic points are captured and yeah, listing posts are built. But what do you know? King is sending in a Stormboy squad over, and yeah, he'll be able to stop the listing shrine from going up. So just a bit of harassment on it, and he'll probably force it to be cancelled or that. No, I guess not. We've got the reinforcing Elder armor coming in, and yeah, looks like the listing post is going to go up. So not too shabby indeed. And we got a single Dark Reaper squad out. Just see. Okay, yeah, the Gardener squad does actually have a Warlock out as well, just to spot actually. Pretty sure they, well, actually not 100% sure, but I think they also provide a damage bonus to the squad, to the Guardian squad itself, the appropriate research is made, but anyway. Doesn't matter too much, and yeah, got the Stormboys trying to harass a bit more, but unfortunately, yeah, the problem is Elder player is, yeah, certainly on top of his micro there, and yeah, his troops using the fleet of foot ability can, yeah, scoot around the battlefield pretty quickly, so they can actually counter multiple threats, multiple angles, and yeah, even try to maybe create some of their own threats, multiple angles. Yeah, just have a look out. Actually, looks like we've got some big shooters being used by the Orc player, and we actually got a Nob leader being deployed along with the Slugger squad, and now yeah, we're going to get the Big Mac coming into the mix as well. So not too shabby. Nice control how he detached the Big Mac from the shooter squad in order to put him into melee, although he might do better maybe separating him from the Slugger squad altogether so he can actually disrupt more ranged squads. But what the hell, he's trying to do a bit of harassment in either case, and yes, that should be applauded for that. And what do you know, I've actually got the stealth ability being used after all for the Ranger squad, and yeah, we've actually got a Mountain Storm ability being used as well as the Mind War ability as well. I'm pretty sure just use that to weaken the Big Mech a bit, so yeah, he's losing a bit of health, and yeah, the Elders in a bit of trouble though. Their listing post on their relic is starting to go down, and they do hold, yeah, they do only hold one location, or doesn't hold any at the moment, so not too shabby. And yeah, got some harassment happening on the western approach to the Elder base as well, so this was going to go down, and yeah, still managed to keep his Big Mech alive as well as his Nob leader, so that's not too shabby. Thanks, Nob leader is actually a pretty good unit to have, just if only for a meat shield really, in melee squads, and especially in the Stormboy squad, because the Stormboy squad, if I remember correctly, he doesn't actually cost any more than the, or should I say the Stormboy squad leader doesn't cost any more than a Nob leader for, say, sluggers or whatever, but yeah, he can jump around, he's got plenty of health and all that, so not too shabby, because normally the sergeant units, or the leader units for jumping troops cost more than, well, more than their counterparts for, anyway, more than their counterparts for non-jumping troops, I suppose, but not in the case for the Orc player, so I'm just surprised he actually isn't using, oh, actually yeah, he is adding in a Nob leader as well to his, to his squad, and yeah, unfortunately he's going to have to retreat, or at least maybe try to find out where the minefield is, but yeah, it's a bit too late now, it's just taking too much damage, and yeah, now it's just going to be retreating at the same time. It looks like this listing shrine will stay up actually, and yeah, these, wow, now that's very brazen. He's actually, Talikana's actually brought his Dark Reaper straight up to the Big Mac, almost goading him into attacking perhaps, but yeah, Orc player was certainly a bit outgunned there, so yeah, unfortunately he's going to be retreating, so King's Pawn might not pawn after all, or pawn, or however you meant to say that. So look, yeah, we've got turret, webway gates being built as well, and I can't see any other webway gates, so you can use that for fast reinforcement. Of course you can't do that without having at least a second webway gate somewhere on the battlefield. And yeah, of course another good ability of the Elder player. Speaking of which, looks like they have taken out the relic, or should I say the relic listing post for the player known as King. And what do you know, he's actually sending in a couple of nobs, along with a Nob leader to try to cause a bit of damage, and yeah, being supported by the shooter boys as well as the Big Mechs as well. So maybe perhaps King might do a bit better by yeah, I don't know, maybe having a few more shooter squads as well, rather than investing so heavily into these melee units, because the problem is they can be kited pretty easily by a skilled Elder player, and at the same time though, we do have Tank Buster slowly taking out Guardians of all things, so that's not going to help them too much. So they're going to be getting a Warlock, and yeah, we've actually got some Fire Dragons to come out as well to cause a bit of damage, so just having a look. Yeah, looks like these Storm Boys will be making sure that they don't advance too far, but of course they're going to run into the crossfire of the support platform and the Guardians as well, so they're just being forced to retreat as well. Got a bit of a stalemate here actually, because yes, we do have Orc Tank Busters working on a listing post, but yeah, we do have a Bone Singer builder unit. Here we go, repairing, and here we go, finally got a second webway gate built, and we've got a vehicle plant built as well. Haven't seen any vehicles yet for the Elder. Here we go. We've got a Falcon Grav tank with a Star Cannon, so probably not the greatest of upgrades if it's going to be attacking buildings and such to harass, but I suppose it'll whittle building away slowly, and it'll should be able to destroy at least one listing post. But probably should have kept its default right lance upgrade if it was going to attacking things like listing post. And what do you know? Got tank busters, invisible ones. Yep, invisible tank busters firing at the Falcon grav tank. But yeah, Metallicana, as you can see, managing to keep it alive with only a sliver of health, and at the same time got a bit of a skirmish happening on the outskirts of the Orc player's base. The King is going to have a hell of a task ahead of him trying to keep this assault at bay, but he's not doing too shabby really. Although at the same time we do have Farseer, who's apparently attached to the Dark Reaper squad itself, letting themselves get into melee for a bit of a while. Don't know why they want to keep doing that. And yeah, at the same time we actually got Knobs shooting in range. I think they were trying to just kill off that building unit there. It was just meters away from the webway gates. And yeah, now they're going to go into melee. So we've got tank busters, Knobs, and they're attacking the Elder player base. What do you think? The player's going to react. Yep, he's going to be sending his units straight into the webway gate, and yeah, now they're going to be popping out. So Elder player probably certainly got the drop on the Orc player. I'm just saying that King probably should have attacked the webway gate first, so that at least they couldn't reinforce that point so quickly. But yeah, unfortunately they didn't. They did manage to cause a bit of damage to the infrastructure of the Elder player's base, but I don't know if they'll be able to do too much. And yeah, just having a look, Metallicana is getting various upgrades to his vehicles, and he's getting a second grav tank, and going for warp spiders as well. At the same time, to have a bit of harassment happening on the eastern location. Interesting, we actually got shooter squads. From there I thought I saw some burners on them, flamethrowers, but apparently don't have them. Then yeah, I mean,
4 minutes
supposed to be able to upgrade them anyway. It's like King has actually got both critical locations, so of course it's going to put a bit more pressure on Metallicana to try to do something about that, either to make a move for the Orc player's base or to decap the critical locations. And yeah, it looks like it's just going to decap critical location, of course, and also try to destroy the Elder player's, sorry, not the Elder player's base, but the Orc player's base as well. So why not do both if you can afford to? At the same time, yeah, King is struggling to rebuild his economy, capturing points and such. And wow, a few abilities being used in general. Looks like King has actually used the I think it's the Surge ability, something like that. Basically, it makes them move faster for a limited amount of time, but also does a bit of damage to them as well. So Mega Armored Knobs, certainly not something to scoff at, and he's about to be upgrading to an Orky Fort as well. So yeah, we actually got quite a bit of a running battle all the way from the outskirts of the Orc player's base into Metallicana's, I wouldn't really say it's his section of the map because he hasn't even decapped the relics, so we're just saying towards Metallicana's base perhaps, since that's where they're slowly heading. But at the same time though, if you look carefully, the the Orcs getting cut down to ribbons. So yeah, I mean this amount of ranged squads just shooting at them, it's going to be a bit tricky to get anything done there with melee troops only as the Orc player. So what is King going to do to try to counteract? So that's a question, especially of teleporting warp spiders and all that. I mean, there's seems to have a usual strategy of just going for a mixture of melee and shooter troops, but I haven't seen them actually be using any vehicles or anything like that, which is not surprising, because if you could get some war tracks or even just war trucks out to provide that range support and also to transport squads around for the war trucks, that would really help him when it comes to mobility and providing the really, well, necessary fire support that they need against the Elder player. Metallicana, unfortunately, is not quite doing that. In fact, he doesn't even have a vehicle planted out at all. I don't think he's actually built one, so it's going to be going through with a pure infantry build, while Metallicana is actually going to be going for a bit of a mixture of vehicles, light vehicles anyway, and here we go, and yeah, infantry build as well. As you can see, it's not working too badly at all. I mean, got a couple of Storm Boys jumping in, but actually I'll be able to do a bit of damage to these Fire Dragons. Decided to stay behind, but yeah, you certainly don't want your rear points to be decapped like that. Metallicana is going to want to retreat his Fire Dragons, unless if he really wants to decap that point. I just noticed actually got a mech shot being built for a kick as well. And yeah, here we go, finally the players retreating, and wow, this Fire Dragon is pretty hardy indeed, sustaining all that fire and still surviving. I mean, sure, Metallic Hand was reinforcing, but god damn it, I managed to take quite a bit of damage, and there you go, got the fire per shooting these Storm Boys just to ward them off. So just having a look, looks like we've got the middle critical location being capped by the Orc player, and it looks like Metallicana is capturing the left and right critical locations. So he's got pretty good troop mix, although he probably could do a few more Fire Dragons, especially now that he's pretty sure you would have seen the mech shot being brought up, and it looks like the first vehicle of the match for interesting. For King is actually going to be a fighter bomber. So, and yeah, King asking me if he's tier 4 of that. So yeah, just friendly chat between players, and yeah, we finally got the warp spider equipment built to being researched. So yeah, they should be right when it comes to anti-vehicle use. We've only got 2 squads of warp spiders. Can't remember if you can build 3. I'm pretty sure you can. But yeah, the equipment upgrade basically gives them haywire grenades, and yeah, I think it just makes them do more damage in general. So to Chevy, and what do we have here? We've got Mad Dog using his fighter. What is it? Fighting juice ability, making sure that his comrades don't die, and yeah, just. I mean, look, the fighter bombers come out, and yeah, it's actually causing quite a bit of damage there. It's an interesting little thing. It doesn't look like it should really be flying. It looks like it's out of, I don't know, Mad Max movie or something. And we've got a second fighter bomber coming out as well. Apparently there's only a limit of 2 in the battlefield, so we have to build some more vehicles after that. And to be honest, you really should have gone vehicles, or should I say, should have built the vehicle plant before he went to tier 4, but I suppose that's just the build that he decided to go for. I mean, King has managed to keep himself in the game, but as you can see, he is slowly losing ground. I mean, he doesn't have either relic point at the moment. He doesn't have either any of the critical locations. In fact, he has to send a squad over just to decap it, although I think he'd probably be better off sending in just a regular slugger squad rather than rather expensive knobs. But what can you do? And these guys are actually being... Oh, that's right, because they... the rocket launchers don't have that good of a range really, although what do we have here? Nice little shot by the, wow, no, that's a pretty bad shot, but anyway, nice little shot of one of the fighter bombers, the other one missing pretty badly, so yeah, they're pretty good at disruption, as you can see, and yeah, bombarding crap in general really. And yeah, they also have a couple of heavy bolts, well, not heavy bolts, they'd call them probably heavy shooters or something like that. Yeah, just have a look. Yeah, these Falcon Grav tanks have been upgraded with star cannons, so they won't be able to do too much damage against these fighter bombs, especially given how much health they have. And look at that, just amazing the amount of disruption that they can do against troops. I mean, these warp spiders, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're heavy infantry at the very least, so yeah, they shouldn't be flung around as much. But yeah, even they basically fly around when you get fighter bomber to actually shoot at them. So actually, yeah, that might not be such a bad strategy for King after all. I mean, he just needs some supporting ranged infantry, so flash kits, shooter boys and such, and probably wouldn't have to worry too much about melee troops, maybe just throw in a couple of the jump squads. Wow, I can't remember just what their name was, but anyway, the Storm Boy squad, sorry. So yeah, just to disrupt whatever squads aren't being bombed by the fighter bombers, but yeah, problem is they obviously can't rely on the fighter bombers to do all the fighting for him. He's going to have to send up these flash kits, maybe send up these mega armored knobs if he's so adamant on using them, and yeah, just create more ranged squads in general if he's going to be able to defeat this rather massive Elder army. Oh, and of course a few rockets, infantry tank busters to destroy the Falcon Grav tanks, of course. Yeah, so Metallicana, he's been doing pretty well actually, going with a interesting beginning build with a Farseer and a Ranger squad, and yeah, going with a relatively early vehicles. It certainly seems to have paid off for him. And yeah, I mean, he's really used the mobility of the Elder infantry to his advantage. And here we go, now we've got a bit of an all-out brawl in the Orc players' base. Wow. Let's shell the crap out of Metallicana, so Metallicana's being forced to make again. Although he is managing to shell bit of the Orc player's base. I'm just surprised. Ah, there we go. And finally the tank buster's warding him off, so... Interesting. Saying I'm scared, not bad. Oh, actually, what do you know? We do have a listing post being built on the relic points for the Orc player Kings. Not too shabby. And yeah, we've also got the Fire Dragons being deployed as well. Not too shabby. So just having a look. Let's see. Oh, we've got Rave Tomb being researched. Oh, and annihilate the enemy. Yep, so they're going to be going to tier 4 any second now, and pretty nice cloaked base they have there actually. In fact, I wonder what the hell this squad's doing. This squad. Huh, interesting. Oh, that's interesting. I just noticed that they must have got the upgrade for the Warlock, because yeah, he managed to temporarily ensnare this squad of what are they, knobs? No, sluggers. And, wow, that's well, that's happening on the right that I just missed part of. We'll see if we can get a view of this. And you think those fighter bombers would be flying a bit higher than a few meters above the ground, so that a small arms fire can't kill them off. What can you do? So yeah, this might be the last hurrah for King's Pawn, unless if you can stave off yet another attack. Metallicanas. It actually seems to be doing pretty well at the moment. Metallicana is inflicting some pretty heavy losses on King's Pawn, but yeah, King's Pawn is managing to hold him back just barely, but yeah, now it looks like the front line is gradually shifting in the Elder's favour, so not too shabby indeed. And there we go, now we just switch back view here, and what do you know, I've actually got an interesting little rush of Gretchen and the Slugger boys on the Elder players base. I'm not sure what the hell the point of that was. Maybe they were just trying to buy themselves some time, and in fact they might be doing that actually. Metallicana for some reason sending in this, well, the Farseer and the Seer Council, but for some reason retreating the rest of their troops. I probably should be able to retreat these guys as well, just to avoid unnecessary losses. Speaking of which, looks like Metallicana's actually been pretty much on top of his spending as well. I mean, the only resources really floating is the power resource, which isn't too unexpected, but then again you'd think he could go over a few more vehicles there just to help him out. Especially now that he can build the almighty fire prisms. Just having a look. Oh, what do you know? We have an avatar coming out for him as well. As for the Orc player, doesn't look like he's going for the squig off though. Although he does have the war boss out, so that's not too shabby, and yeah, he's still got those 2 fighter bombers up and running. Although they've lost a bit of health, they'd probably be better off putting up some Gretchen just to heal them up a bit. In fact, I'm not even sure if he's even researched stealth upgrade for the Gretchen now that I think of it. They don't look to have been stealthed the entire game actually. Oh well. And yeah, now we've got the, where is it actually? Oh, there we go. Damn, I missed it. Yeah, we had the burner bomb built being used by the Mad Dog. Not why exactly he gets it, instead of a different Orc troop, what the hell. And there we go. So we've got simultaneous attacks on the west and the southern approaches to the Orc player base. And wow, those fire dragons can really absorb quite a bit of damage, especially when we reinforce them. And yeah, we've also got a looks to be a bit of a final push by Metallicana. Actually, I wonder where his doesn't have the avatar out yet actually, so given that the game's about to end today, I'd say yeah, Metallicana's most likely got this one in the bag. And the Orcs player's losing too much of his infrastructure, his production buildings are going down, his war banners have gone down, I think even some plasma generators have gone down. And yeah, his army is just about falling apart as well, so he's got a single squad of mega armoured knobs, I think, yeah, those have been the tank busters. And yeah, there's a GG from King's Pawn, so not too shabby, and yep, he's out, so... Yeah, where's the Avatar of Kane? Oh, okay, so probably would have seen the Avatar of Kane approaching with the troops in the west, so... Yeah, interesting game indeed. Certainly goes to show that if you go for a... well, I mean, it's not like Metallicana played badly, of course, we're just saying he played a bit more of a standard game of, like with the exception maybe of bringing out his Farseer pretty quickly out. He played a relatively standard game against the Orc player. He just bounced up his troops, his infantry with, well, on with vehicle spending as well, should I say. So seems to have tipped the scales in his favour, especially when the Orc player, I mean, initially having, you know, a combination of melee troops to disrupt the ranged elder infantry and, you know, your own ranged troops actually do the damage isn't too shabby. But the problem is though they can dance around pretty easily. So the elder player can dance his troops around pretty easily with fleet foot and all that. Although take a bit of skill, you know, of course, to micro and all that, but yeah, at that point you really do need something a bit better to use against them. So unfortunately, yeah, King didn't really adapt too well to that. The fighter bomb was a nice touch, but still. Yes, there you go. Be posting this game hopefully a bit later on today, or should I say uploading it a bit later on today. And until that happens, this has been Damien Tadich signing off.